It's you against you. You against you. And if you misunderstand that, you have a real problem.
I still remember the first time I heard about Can't Hurt Me. It was everywhere. Podcasts, YouTube, people at the gym swearing up and down that this book would change my life. David Goggins is different, they said. This isn't just another self-help book, it's the ultimate blueprint for mental toughness. I'll admit, I was intrigued. The guy ran ultramarathons, went through Navy SEAL training 3 times, and basically turned his life into a never-ending endurance test. If there was anyone who could teach me discipline, it had to be him, right?
Well, everybody, it's Groundhog's Day again for David Goggins.
So I bought the book. I read every page, and yeah. At first I was hooked. The way Goggins talks about suffering, about pushing yourself beyond your limits, it makes you want to drop everything and start running at 4 a.m. It makes you feel like you've been making excuses your whole life. But then something weird happened. The more I thought about it, the more I started noticing cracks in the message. Was I actually improving my life? Or was I just chasing motivation? Was I really getting stronger? Or was I just beating myself into the ground because I thought that's what success looked like? Because that's the problem with Can't Hurt Me. It's inspiring, sure. But inspiration doesn't equal transformation. And a lot of people don't realize that until it's too late. Here's where Can't Hurt Me really starts to fall apart. See, Goggins' whole philosophy is built on one idea. Suffering is the key to greatness. He talks about waking up at ungodly hours, running for miles with broken bones, pushing past pain until your mind and body submit to sheer willpower. And look, I get the appeal. It's raw, it's intense. It makes you feel like you're part of some elite group of people who refuse to quit. But here's the issue. Pain doesn't automatically equal progress. A lot of people read Can't Hurt Me and think, if I'm not grinding 24/7, if I'm not suffering, then I'm being weak. And that's where they fall into the self-help trap, the endless cycle of consuming motivation, convincing themselves they're improving, but never actually making sustainable progress. Let me explain. Reading a book about mental toughness feels productive. Watching a YouTube video about discipline feels productive. Waking up at 4 a.m. because a Navy SEAL said it would change your life feels productive. But at some point you have to ask, am I actually making my life better, or am I just action faking? Because that's what a lot of people fall into, this illusion of progress. They read Can't Hurt Me, feel a burst of motivation, maybe start running for a few weeks, take cold showers, push themselves harder at the gym, but then burn out completely because they're following a system that was built for a guy who thrives on extreme suffering. Goggins isn't normal, he's an outlier, and that's what a lot of his fans forget. There's a reason most high performers don't live like David Goggins. Yes, discipline matters. Yes, mental toughness is important, but blindly suffering for the sake of suffering is not a long-term strategy. And if you're constantly running yourself into the ground, eventually you'll break. Have you ever noticed how people who are really into self-help books never stop reading them? They jump from Can't Hurt Me to Atomic Habits to the 10 times rule, convinced that the next book is going to be the one that finally changes their life. And for a while, it feels like it's working. You get that dopamine hit, that rush of motivation that makes you feel like you're leveling up. But here's what they don't realize. Motivation fades. A week later, they're back where they started, chasing that next hit of inspiration. And that's the trap. They mistake feeling motivated for actually making progress.
So to do that, you have to come into work, and work is, whatever your work may be, ready to go. And what that means is you may have failed miserably yesterday, but you come to work like, people are like, man, you just lost everything.
And Can't Hurt Me is one of the worst offenders because it makes you believe that if you're not pushing yourself to the absolute limit, you're failing. It turns discipline into an obsession rather than a tool. That's why so many people read the book, get fired up, go all in for a few weeks, and then quit. Because they're not actually building a sustainable system, they're just chasing highs.
I'm getting it from, there's not a motherfucker that's up. There's not a car, there's not a person. Everybody's in their bed, sleep, dreading that it's a Monday, hate it's a Monday.
Now let's talk about hustle culture, because whether he means to or not, Goggins' philosophy feeds into one of the biggest lies of the modern self-help industry. Work harder than everyone else, and you'll be successful. It sounds good in theory, but here's the reality. Hard work isn't enough. If it were, then construction workers, single moms working 2 jobs, and restaurant chefs pulling 80-hour weeks would all be millionaires. But they're not. Because it's not just about how much you work, it's about what you're working on. Grinding yourself into the ground doesn't guarantee success, but Can't Hurt Me makes it seem like the secret to everything is just more suffering. And I get it, pushing through discomfort is important. If you quit at the first sign of struggle, you'll never accomplish anything. But that's not the same as forcing yourself to suffer for no reason. A lot of people read "Can't Hurt Me" and think, if I just work harder, I'll succeed. But hard work without strategy is just glorified burnout. And here's the final problem with "Can't Hurt Me." David Goggins isn't a normal person. Most people can't live like him, and they shouldn't live like him. Goggins was raised in extreme hardship.
Man, I feel like I didn't fucking do something. Because you did. You didn't do it. You didn't do shit. There's no luck in this game, man. It may be a little bit of luck, but the luck happens after you bust your ass and you put yourself in that lucky situation. Luck doesn't happen. You put yourself in that situation where luck might fucking happen.
His childhood was brutal. He built his mindset as a survival mechanism. The way he approaches pain isn't just about discipline, it's how he copes with life. So when people try to copy his lifestyle, they're following a blueprint that wasn't made for them. They start running ultra marathons, waking up at 4 a.m., pushing through injuries, and then they break down because they're not Goggins. And that's okay. "Can't Hurt Me" has some great lessons. Mental toughness does matter. But real growth isn't just about suffering for the sake of suffering. It's about being strategic.
If it's as bad as you want to live or breathe or sleep, whatever the hell it may be, I can work with you. But a lot of people, most people don't want it that badly, which is why they always ask the question, man, how did you get to where you are? You know how to do it.
Instead of trying to live like David Goggins, ask yourself, what actually moves me forward? What actions give me real progress, not just a temporary sense of accomplishment? At the end of the day, "Can't Hurt Me" isn't a bad book. There's a reason so many people love it. It's inspiring, it's raw, and it makes you want to push yourself harder than ever before. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. The problem isn't David Goggins, it's the way people misinterpret his message. They think success is about grinding non-stop, suffering for the sake of suffering, and ignoring their limits. But real success isn't just about pain, it's about consistency, strategy, and knowing when to push versus when to recover. Mental toughness is valuable. But if all you're doing is chasing motivation and forcing yourself to suffer without a clear goal, you're not getting stronger, you're just burning out. So if you took one thing from this video, let it be this: work hard, yes. Push yourself, yes. But don't fall for the trap of thinking pain equals progress. Because real growth, that comes from doing the right things over and over for the long haul. And that's all for today. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more of these kinds of videos. Thanks for watching.
I'm loving that. Where everybody's getting weaker, I'm getting stronger. It's not about the running, the swimming, the push-ups, the sit-ups. It's about what those things do for your mentality. You don't get better on the daggone couch. You get better by coming out here and getting the fuck after it every daggone day. Stay hard.